Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Build Your Best Life. I'm Coach Deborah, and I am super excited to have you here because you could have been anywhere else, but you decided to join us here on Let's Talk About It. It's first Thursday of the month, and we have none other than Miss Tonya Ferguson. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm blessed and glad to be here.
Good. Thanks for having me.
I'm always glad to have you here. Thank you so much. Well, of course, I'm always asking y'all, give me a topic, because on these Thursday episodes, we want to talk about what's trending, what is interesting to you, and what's going on. But until you send me some comments or topics that you want us to talk about, we're going to find those topics. Well, teens and young men especially like putting on music, whatever type music they like. They get into that routine. Sometimes it's easier for them to do their homework, do their chores. If they're listening to that music, getting into the groove. Some like to dance as they are doing housework or whatever. But I found that there's much more to dancing. It can actually help you in other areas. So Tanya, Carol, and Anastasia, they normally get on here and we talk about those topics. But today I can't talk. Today we're going to do something a little bit different, and we are going to have Tanya talk about her passion and what she loves to do. So as we get started here, and hello, Curly, thank you for tuning in. We are going to be talking about dance your way to confidence. Dance your way to confidence. So Tanya, as I stated, you are here every month just about, but today we want to focus on you and what you love to do. So you love to dance and you teach dance. So
Yes.
tell us how you got started and what sparked your passion for this.
Yes, absolutely. So, um, as you said, I am an avid dancer, love to teach it, love to choreograph, love to be on stage, love producing every part of it. But I got started when I was maybe about 4 or 5 at the University of Cincinnati Conservatory of Music. They offered ballet classes. That's where their dance classes were held at. So originally started out there and fell in love with it first watching from the sidelines of my older sister and watching her being able to do it. And I was too young to do it yet, but I would always just sit out there waiting for my chance. Um, and then finally, when it came, I embraced every moment of it, enjoyed the artistry of it. Um, but I think, and I did things such as drill team and um, cheerleading and things like that as the time progressed. But what really, I guess I could say, I sunk my teeth in was in high school. We had something called dance club, and it's just like your normal club in terms of people just getting together after school. But this one specifically, we did dance. We had a dance studio. We put on dance shows. It was the first time I got to really choreograph my own pieces and put it on people and then present it on a like actual theatrical stage. So that was the moment. I think I did that for maybe 2 out of the 4 years of high school. But that was the moment where I think I realized that I really, really enjoy not just performing, which is what I equated cheerleading and drill team to, but actually creating and the process it took to create those pieces. And then from there, went to college, studied it at Ohio State University, and then just continued that dancing with different companies in the Columbus, Ohio area, and just continued my artistry and never looked back, honestly. It was one of the best decisions I've ever made.
Wow. That is, I love it when people can, do what they love and follow your passion. That's wonderful.
Absolutely. I've also had the pleasure, there's many of the viewers may know Alvin Ailey Dance Company. They're out of New York and they are world renowned. And I remember going to a workshop, two workshops of theirs that were invitation only. And I just so happened to know the right people. So I got invited because I knew the right people. So I just want to put that disclaimer out there, okay? But when I went, I saw a caliber and a stage presence. Like it's different when you see people on stage, but when you see that same caliber in person and they're teaching you and they're showing you the difference in the artistry, um, that I think is what really catapulted my thinking in terms of not only do I want to do this, but I want to show other people what has been shown to me behind the scenes.
Good. Awesome, awesome, awesome. That's good. Sharing with others. I love it.
Yes.
And I can see you just brighten up and just start glowing when you're talking about it.
Yes, I can't help but smile. I love it so much. It just feels good. So yeah, like a little girl.
Okay, so what fears or doubts did you have when you first tried to dance in front of others, or did you just, hey, I got this?
I would like to say because I started out so young and saw my sister do it, that if I did have anything, I was not aware of it. But then as you get older and you do have that self awareness, um, I think it's the thought, and it's very common in any type of artistry format, but we could take this across the board to any area of anyone's life. It's the fear of, or the imposter syndrome, the fear of not being good enough. A lot of times when you dance, it is, how do I put this? It's kind of like exposing, it's a level of vulnerability. Because, in my opinion, in order to be a dancer or a good artist, you have to communicate a message that the audience can read. And so, in order to deliver that message, you have to put more than just movement. I believe you have to put your emotions into it. You have to put your thought process into it. You become kind of a character so that you can embody what the message is so that your audience can get the message. So I think one of the things that I had difficulty with is allowing myself to be that vulnerable, and knowing that it wasn't until I tapped into that vulnerability that I actually became the or started to become the dancer that I wanted to be. Went beyond technique, but I was actually delivering messages to people.
Okay. Good. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Now, how did learning the choreography, performing, even in the small parts you may have had, help you to believe in yourself more? Did that help you in any way? Was it
Yeah,
different?
yeah. So dance is something that I think it's a skill that you have to continue to develop and learn, whether it's you're learning a specific skill set, like how to get that leg up higher to do a batma, or if you're learning someone's choreography or even your own, it's something that you're continuously working on. And it's an industry that can be very competitive. So unless you are really grounded and know that from the beginning of what you're doing and who you are, which honestly most young people um, don't know that yet, um, it is it's an industry where you're constantly trying to challenge yourself and constantly being judged by other people. So um, when you're doing that and you begin to learn the skills and you begin to prove yourself to yourself, not necessarily to other people, but to prove yourself to yourself, I think that grows your confidence. It shows you that you have that tenacity to not only learn choreography or to learn a skill set, but to keep going back and to keep going back and to keep going back till you master it. And even that skill set builds upon the next skill set. So at the end of the day, as a dancer, your confidence grows because you know that you can accomplish things and that there's still something more ahead. There's another goal ahead that you have to hit, but you've
Mhm.
already taken that step to get to that second goal. So it allows you to just be confident in who you are in order to expose or be vulnerable to the public.
Mhm. All right. Oh, that sounds exciting. So if you're out there listening and you thought about dancing, or you have a child or grandchild and you're thinking, I would like, maybe that's something they would like to do. This should be something that kind of like entices you to take that next step, because it's more than the dancing.
Yes. If I could add in there, just because I'm also do study clinical aspects in college, and I apply that to even the things that I choreograph and teach now.
Mhm.
Dance is really good for a sensory things. So if you have children, or if you're a person that is kind of sensory sensitive, dancing is a good way, an excellent way to help regulate the nervous system. It also is an excellent way to build physical awareness and body awareness that transcribes across all platforms of activities and athletics and just your everyday life, just even sitting at your job. So dancing can be very fun, but it's also a very functional activity as well.
That was good. All right. Make me want to learn how to dance. Can you share a moment when dance gave you more confidence in other areas of your life, like maybe school, work, relationships, or something else?
Yeah. As I've said before, dancing is something that I'm very passionate about, whether it's me dancing, teaching, or choreographing. And so when you're able to walk out and do something that you love and you're able to see how it benefits the masses, or if it benefits one person that you're teaching, or even if it benefits you and your self confidence, I feel like that translate and transcribes into um, schoolwork, like work, for instance. Um, I feel confident in my ability to complete a task when it comes to dance, like teaching something, or if I'm looking at a student, I'm like, oh, they're not catching it. What in their body do I need to help adjust?
Mm.
That alone makes me know that any at work or at school, anything that I come up against, if I just sit and look or if I just sit and watch, I'll figure it out. And if I don't, I know that I need to go get help. So it's a level of security and your abilities. And we're talking about dance because that's what I'm passionate about. But if you can find that security in your ability in anything, that does cross over into every other area, or it can cross over into every other area in your life. Absolutely.
Yeah, I believe that. Never say never. So, you say, well, I can't learn that. I can't get that concept. But if you get, that's something that you really want to do, you're passionate about it. It's like, okay, what can I do to make a shift to, to get it? It might take one little thing and I got it. So.
And I know for me, a lot of times when I go on stage, I can rehearse for months. But up until the day that I'm about to hit that floor in front of an audience, I will be shaking in my boots backstage. You won't know, but I will be shaking in my boots and nervous and terrified because although I practice, I don't know what that moment's going to be like. I could slip and fall, the audience cannot receive it, but it's still knowing what you're there for and following through with what you've come to do. And it's about overcoming fear because that was nothing but fear. Every single time, it's fear, the anxiety, the nervousness, it's fear. So I just bring that up because dance can also teach you how to overcome your fears and walk through those fears, which again translates to other areas in your life where you might be nervous to go find a new job or try something new. Doesn't even have to be anything that's detrimental, but just to try something new, it's still practicing overcoming fear.
Yeah. Yep, I can imagine. It's like speaking. People think that some people is that well, they're just natural speakers. I wish I could speak like that, but they just don't understand that each time they walk up on the podium, they're nervous as well, and it's like they can't wait to finish speaking so they can go sit down somewhere.
Right, right. And it's different when you walk up there and you have those lights hitting you and you have people looking at you and you're like the only thing that's gonna be moving and you're just like, ah, I just hope I remember everything and I don't get it wrong. But even if you do, show goes on.
Yeah.
Keep you keep going.
A lot of times, even if you make a misstep, they don't realize that you did.
As a matter of fact, that this last performance I did in September, we had this choreograph where we're supposed to take off these dresses and reveal like kind of like a butterfly coming out of their cocoon and being this new creature and this new being. So we practiced this over and over and over again, and there's four of us. Guess who couldn't get out of her dress? I was just like, oh no. I was like, no, please don't do this. Please don't do this. So I was struggling to get out. I will say I got out. I was a few counts late, but because I took the dress and balled it up and I overemphasized the throwing away of it. And I made it as part of the dance. And one of the ladies afterwards came up to me and she was just like, that part where you balled up that dress and you threw it down. She's like, I don't think that was part of the dance, but I loved it. And I was just like, oh, well, thank you. Like the show just keeps going. You make what you can out of it.
Yep, exactly. Yep. Yeah, if you just joined us, we are having a great topic with Tonya tonight. Dance your way to confidence. Sometimes we let our fears get the best of us, and we hesitate about doing something that we may be passionate about or love doing. But just think about it. And this is a great conversation that we're having. So make sure that you like, comment, and share. So, Tonya, how does teaching dance help you to solidify your own confidence and leadership?
I think leadership, it comes down to being able to serve. I believe in a servant leader. So if I am able to teach and understand, and when I teach, I literally look at, I do the masses, I teach as a whole, but then I look at the dancer. And if they're not understanding something the way that I'm explaining it or able to do something, um, I believe it's my turn to serve them individually. So finding out what is there a way that I can explain this differently? Is there a way that I can do this differently? Is there a way that maybe from a physical standpoint, I'm like, hey, it's because this muscle isn't strong enough to support this move. So let's focus on doing this exercise to build it up. So I think it makes me really think about how can I serve these dancers? How can I serve them? Because at the end of the day, a choreographer, their job is to make whoever's on the floor look their best, no matter what their skill set is. And so it helps me to validate the dancer and who they are. It helps me to validate their experiences, and it helps me to validate where they are. So I just take that into consideration with all the things that I do in my life, with my children, with people I interact with. I don't. I may come at people or a thing as a whole, but then I always take a step back and say, now how did this resonate, and is there a better way that I could serve this person with this information that I'm trying to provide? So it helps me be a very cognizant servant leader, I believe, to anybody who is in my sphere, or at least I try to be anybody who's in my sphere of influence.
Okay, that's good. So, um, and then you mentioned, your children. So, in the course of the time that you have learned and your confidence has grown and your abilities are just getting better and better and better, have you taken any of those skills or what you've learned and taken it over into parenting? Has that helped you in any way there?
Absolutely. I think as a parent, you're your child's teacher, and they say you're your child's first teacher, but I think you're your child's forever teacher, in my opinion. Um, so it's the same thing. I try to look at my kids individually, not as, oh, we're one big family. I'm like, no, you are this. You seem to like these things. Your brain seems to operate this way. Let me interact with you in a way that pleases you, that makes sense to you. And then I do the other one, my other son, the same way. So um, I think it teaches me to see people individually. As a teacher, you have to see them individually to know what their strengths and weaknesses are, and same thing as a choreographer, so that you can best serve them and put the right choreography on the people so that they look their best when they're dancing. I would never give somebody a super complicated thing when they're at level one, right? Because that just doesn't make sense. Same thing with my children. I approach them as individuals. Um, they are wonderful human beings that demand and need and want different things from me as their mom and just in life. And my job is to the best of my ability, with the grace of God, to give and serve in that capacity so that they can continue to grow and flourish as an individual, and not based upon what I think they should be or what society thinks they should be, but what God has shown me that they are.
That's good. Thank you for sharing that question. Thank you all for joining us. I see Yvonne has joined, Dan, Deacon Holmes. Thank y'all for tuning in today. We're going to take a little break before we get to our last point and our topic today, Dance Your Way to Confidence. But this month, Build Your Best Life is having a challenge. 31 books in 31 days. For those of you who don't know, I wrote a book, Build Your Best Life, that talks about the same principles that I teach, the 5 basic principles of association, self-discipline, goals, positive mindset, and financial literacy. So our challenge is to sell 31 books in 31 days. So if you don't have your copy, or you have gifted your copy, you can also buy a copy and gift a copy because Christmas is coming up. But that is our challenge. So you can go on our website, which is www.buildyourbestlife.org, or you can email me at byblwdsmith@gmail.com and get your copy. But remember, you're 31 books in 31 days, so we need your help. And for those of you who have read the book, you know that it is a great asset that will help young men, young ladies, mentors, pastors, educators. It's a good resource. It's down to earth, basic principles to build your best life. So please pass the word, like, comment, share, and let everyone know about the challenge. And also, we have different ways that you can purchase or pay for your book. I'm going to put that up on the screen for you as well. You can pay with Cash App, PayPal, or Zelle. So you can even scan the QR codes for Cash App. That's the one on top. No, that's PayPal is on top. The Cash App is on the bottom. And then Zelle is 904-553-4094. So please make sure that you pass the word. All right. So we're going to get to our last point here. This has been a great topic, and I'm so glad that Tonya was open to share with us about her love of dancing today. So what tips would you give a young man who's interested, or a young lady who's interested in dance, but afraid of what others might say?
I would first start them off with their why. Why do you want to do what you want to do? And let that be your driving force. If you always keep it at the front of your mind, and you have your conviction about your why, then as you move forward, all the other things will begin to start to fall away, and the why will take precedence. I would also tell them that you're kind of a leader. If you're scared to do something because you're afraid what others around you are think, that means you're doing something different. And that's very bold, and that's very that's not normal. So they are a leader in their sphere of influence right now. And that can be very scary, but it's also something that if they're that interested in it, that they have all the power and authority to walk in. And then I would tell them to focus on the joy. Focus on the why you're doing it, but then find the joy in it. Don't be too scared or worried about what others will think, because that will pull away from the joy of movement and the joy of why you even want to do it. But then just focus on the joy. And something really practical, if you're really that nervous or that scared or that worried about what other people think, literally, this might be a little contrary, but find a place where no one's at and just do it. And continue to build your confidence in that area where you feel free and just okay to be yourself. And then as you continue to build that confidence, then start going out into places where you might be seen a little bit more, but you don't need to rush out and be visible to everyone. Find a place that you feel safe and secure and that has a quality teacher or a quality program, or if you're just going to like your local Y and you want to dance, but find that space where you feel good at and hang out in there until you get the other stuff to keep you going forward.
All right. I love it. So find out your why. And if you're thinking about it and you want to do something that's different, you're a leader of influence. Focus on the joy of doing it. And then find that safe space for you to just do it until you get more confidence. I love it.
Exactly. Yes. The safe space. Yes.
Okay. Well, again, thank you so much, Tonya. And it may be someone that's watching that is in your area. So if you want to tell us a little bit more or give people a number or something where they can contact you if they want to ask you something about dancing or.
Yes, absolutely. You can find me on social media with Distinguished Dance LLC on Facebook and Instagram. You can also reach out to me on Facebook just under Tonya Ferguson and Instagram under Ms. spelled Mizzluv3. And I'd be more than happy to talk or direct you in the right path in an area near you or within our neighborhood.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And again, thank everyone for tuning in. We're so glad to have you here with us today. And some of you may be on and I cannot see your comments because you're not following me. So if you were here on Build Your Best Life on Facebook, if you can follow Build Your Best Life, and then I can see your comments and see when you show up. And if you're on YouTube, just Build Your Best Life on YouTube as well. If you subscribe, I can see your comments. But I would love to have you on at any time. And we are on every Tuesday, every Thursday, and second and third Saturdays. So we will not be on this Saturday, but on Tuesday, October the 7th, we will have Ashley Medford back. Back in August, we started a series, The Journey of Adoption Through the Eyes of African American Boys. And we had 3 segments to do. We only got through one of them. So we're going to finish those up this month. So we will be going back to that on Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5:30 Central Time. The Journey of Adoption Through the Eyes of African American Boys. And if you have been on any of the broadcasts with Ashley, it is just so interesting, all of the things that young boys, especially boys of color, are going through as they go through the adoption process, or they're waiting to be adopted. Sometimes they get into homes and that's not a good fit for them. And then the after as well, whatever they encountered through those first 2 phases can ultimately impact them for years afterwards. So it is a great segment to listen to. This is I often say you don't know what you don't know, and it really was eye-opening for me, but it is something that I think more people should be aware of. Okay, so thank you all for tuning in today, and I hope that you are available on Tuesday. We would love to have you here. Always love to have you. Excuse me. Remember that building your best life is our business. That's not a slogan. It's our commitment. I love you. Be blessed. Stay safe. I'll be looking for you on Tuesday, and talk to you later, Tonya.
All right. Thanks for having me.
All right. Bye-bye.